quite.
Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the B&T Sportstalk show. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening as we get into all the happenings in this week in the world of sports, mainly the NBA Finals. We got some NBA free agency. We got Caitlyn Clark coming back. We got some baseball. My boy B, obviously supporting his team, the Giants, wants to discuss the success they've had as he gets that out, because we got to get those out before we start talking.
My bad, man.
You got a good mic, man. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I guess it picked it up. My bad, y'all. I got that discreet too.
you thought you did.
I thought I did.
Man. Well, thanks for joining us anyway. Go ahead and hit like, subscribe on the video. Subscribe to us. We appreciate everybody that's subscribed. And man, we got a lot to go through, man. Some important stuff happening around the world of sports, man. So let's get right into it. B, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Hey, happy Father's Day to you, man.
Oh yeah, thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the pops
dads out there. And all the single moms doing dad's job as well. Happy Father's Day to you guys as well.
That's right. To all the dads.
It's a lot of work to ask for.
To all the dads
who played moms too.
Yeah, there you go. There's single fathers out there as well. But all the dads who went out to get milk and came back. Let's celebrate today.
Damn.
Let's celebrate. All right.
Yeah, man. You have a good Father's Day.
Oh yeah, man, had a great Father's Day. Talk to my dad, my grandfather, who I'm blessed, to still have. And yeah, man, it was a good day. Hung out with my kids, nerded out, went to a comic book store today, bought a few comic books, and then
found myself in a comic book store today too, in Alameda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it Collector's Corner?
No, it wasn't Collector's Corner.
Oh, it was Collector's Corner. Okay. They probably
it was across from the Museum of Pinball in
okay.
Alameda.
All right.
Yeah, but this lady had her crap all over. The place was not organized. I probably could have walked out with 9 or 10 comic books. Probably would have never known it either. But yeah, I took my dad to the Museum of Pinball. My dad's a huge pinball fan, so
there you go.
We played some old school pinball where it was the rotating score on the board, not the digital stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then you had the kind of the more recent ones. They had a Deadpool pinball machine. I thought that one was pretty cool too.
There you go.
Jurassic Park, Godzilla, Tron, all the good stuff there. So it was fun. There was a lot of loud knocking noises. So I figured out that's when you get a free game or you set a high score.
Pinball machines are great because there's nothing but noise. There's noise coming from the machine. There's you pounding the crap out the thing, trying to
shaking the shit out of
it. Trying
not to get caught for tilting the machine.
No, man, it sounds like a lot of fun, man.
It was a blast, man. It got crowded as the day went on, man. I guess there's a lot of dads out there who love pinball machines, so it was a perfect place to take them. $22, unlimited play.
There you go. Better than any arcade you can go to for sure.
They had 3 different rooms of pinball, man. It was fun.
There you go, folks. You heard it first. Get out there, do something with you.
And I got my wristband too. So if I want to go back after this show, I'm gonna drive my ass all the way back to Alameda, another 35-minute drive to go play some pinball.
There you go. Well, let's get into it, man. So we got a lot of stuff to go through. I think we have to start with the NBA Finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. It is now an official series. It's no longer a game. It's no longer this team has the leg up. It's tied 2-2. Both teams have won a road game, and that's how you know it's a real series. This thing has definitely had some ups and downs. The first game back in Indiana, Game 3, was close until Halliburton and Mathurin really carried the offensive load for Indiana. And then in Game 4, it turned around the other way, where the game was close up until or was it really close? Honestly, I mean, Indiana had the lead.
Yeah, they had full control of that game.
All the way up until the fourth quarter. Very, very, very similar to Game 1 for Oklahoma City. The Pacers did the same thing the Oklahoma City Thunder did. They gave up the lead in the fourth quarter, and OKC tied that thing up 2-2. So the moment Indiana opened up the lane, OKC drove right through that thing, man. So this is going to be a great series. Man, I got to say, I know you didn't get a chance to catch the game because your beloved Giants were playing the Dodgers around the same time.
Yes, they were.
For those who don't know, this is a big deal. Obviously, it's a Giants fan. Most Giants fans aren't big fans of the Dodgers.
Well, first of all, no,
So
we hate LA. Let's
okay,
get that right.
okay, hate is a strong word, but I
Baseball
kind of
term
believe
wise.
him.
Baseball term wise.
I kind of
Baseball
believe
term
you, though.
wise.
I kind of believe you, honestly, when I think about it. But this game for sure was a game in the beginning that really seemed like Indiana was going to take it over and was going to get the job done. Throughout the game, they seemed to have most of the momentum on their side. From what I could from jump, to be honest with you, their threes were really falling, which we hadn't seen a lot throughout most of this series. This is one of the first games where it was like, okay, Indiana's offense is moving, they getting it done, and Oklahoma City played the same type of game that we saw that we're used to seeing from Indiana. They just hung around. Indiana went up by 10 multiple times throughout this entire game, but they never quite were ever able to quite push it out of reach. And OKC did a great job of hanging in there. They went back to that big lineup, B. Remember, I think we talked about that in the last show with playing two bigs on the floor, and that really paid some dividends with rebounding, a lot of offensive rebounds late in the game that really, really helped them get over the hump and get this game, especially in the fourth quarter. There were a couple of Chet Holmgren offensive round putbacks that really helped OKC's offense, because to be quite honest, their offense was it was sputtering a little bit. OKC was definitely having some trouble. Couldn't shoot a three to save their life. I'm trying to pull up the stats here, but I want to say they only made like maybe
It wasn't a whole lot.
Three pointers or something along those lines. If I could just find it here. But they were abysmal from the 3-point line. Like I said, I think they had one in the second half, and it was SGA hitting a three in the final minutes of the game that really helped propel them to the victory, man. But, dude, I don't know if you got a chance to catch any highlights or anything, B, but, this game was, this was, and we're going to talk about SGA in a second here, but this game was definitely a game that really showed that it's not so much about strength in numbers. Having the best player on the court still matters. I mean,
we all know the NBA Finals is a chance to showcase who you are as a superstar, right? It's your superstar. It's the whole team's chance, but it's your superstar's opportunity to put his name on the map. And in Game 4, SGA did exactly that in the fourth quarter. There, he took his team on his back. 16. I think the last 16 points, Shea had 15 of those. That's what you want from your leader there. And that's not a knock to anyone else. It's just you look for one of those games. I'll take it just as much as in 2022. Curry had a Game 4 for the ages in Boston, down 2-1, scored 43 points, put the team on his back, and the Warriors never looked back after that. You see the similar kind of thing with the way SGA kind of took over this game in Game 4 here, where it was like, all right, they did enough to hang around. No one got down or anything. When it came down to it, there was only one man that was going to look to score the ball, and that was SGA. And the Thunder knew that as well, and he did it from inside the 3-point line. Like I think that's the more impressive thing that I see about that. There was a lot of it was he didn't have to go beyond the arc. No. He kept everything inside. He did to what his strength is, and that is a mid-range jumper and getting to the hoop there. And it paid dividends. It took him all the way back and got him a crucial Game 4 win.
Yeah, and I think we talked about OKC and the fact that they are young. There's a lot of people doubting them coming into the playoffs, but they legitimately have been growing every single series that we've watched them play. OKC in this game, this was, for me, at least from my perspective, the SGA coming out party. There are some questions about, him being a young, talented player, but can he compete on the highest stage? Well, he just did. In a game where your team is trying to figure out a way to score, in a game where you're down by 10 going into the fourth quarter, their offense went through SGA a majority of the fourth quarter, and they got it done. And he got it done. Not just getting through the free throw line either. He knocked down a few difficult shots. The Thunder did a much better job of living in and around the rim in this game. We talked about those two bigs being in the game. Helped out tremendously with offensive rebounds that paid dividends, like I mentioned earlier, especially in the fourth. And I gotta say, man, SGA is the man. I'm not gonna even talk you down. I mean, we're talking about a dude out here playing early 2000s basketball, and nobody else knows how to guard it. I mean, let's just call it what it is. The dude is playing from the free throw line down, and he's able to get into that area and dominate. And we don't see that from a lot of players in the league at all anymore, at least. I mean, we were used to that in the previous, our previous rendition of the NBA prior to the Steph Curry effect. You had guys who were, I'm serious, you had guys who were, the mid-range was money. Guys were shooting, range was money. Guys were shooting high percentages from the mid-range because that's how you learn how to play basketball. We're seeing SGA do that and do it at a high level. And I want to confront something. You hear a lot of people talk about the free throws, and SGA does shoot some free throws. Yes, he does get to the free throw line a lot. This is anything we haven't seen before. Anybody, James Harden, anybody? Doesn't mean you win a championship. Doesn't mean he gets you into the finals. Okay. So the other thing is, when you look at the tape, you got 38 free throws for the Oklahoma City and 33 free throws for the Pacers.
It was about even.
So it's not that far off. The only difference is one team made 90% of their free throws, the other made 75% of the free throws. So I don't want to get too caught up. I did think the refs they blew the whistle pretty quickly towards down the stretch of the game, which was on both sides, in my opinion. But either way, no matter how you cut it, this wasn't a game of blaming the refs, in my opinion. This was SGA getting it done because he knocked down some big shots. And you got to make those free throws. Just because you get them don't mean you make them. And the Pacers, I'm sure they would have liked to have made those additional, 8 free throws? Yep. 8 or 9 free. That might have won them the game. So you can't chalk this up to SGA just being the free throw merchant as he's known to be, or the fact that the whistle was somehow catering to. No, man. Indiana had this game. They had this game. Their offense got stagnant. They started getting into those bad habits of one-on-one basketball. And more importantly, they did not go to Pascal Siakam. They completely abandoned him in the fourth quarter. They didn't call a play for him. They didn't get him the ball. It didn't make any sense. I know people love Halliburton. He had the ball.
Siakam's their best player.
Right. Tyrese had the ball majority of the time throughout that fourth quarter. And it didn't work. It didn't. No. SGA blocked his 3-point shot. He stepped back 3 at one point.
Yep.
So, man, B, I want to get your thoughts on that, man. I know Tyrese Halliburton feels like he's being overlooked. He feels like he's being, outcasted. That he should get more props. But what's your opinion on that, man? After watching this series.
I've given him my props. I believe so, but I haven't seen a Tyrese Halliburton takeover completely like the way SGA took over completely in game 4 there. Halliburton hit the game-winning shot in game 1, right? But the last 5 minutes of the game wasn't really a Tyrese Halliburton game. Yeah. It really wasn't like that. The time to be selfish is now. Your team is 2 wins away from being a champion, right? And at some point, you're going to just have to say, I got to take over. And that's what you got from SGA. This is the reason why he's the league MVP. He outdid Jokic this year. And that's nothing to take from Jokic. Jokic had a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
But SGA was that much better. And you're getting a full display of it right now. I mean, he only shot, 10 free throws in this game, in game 4? I think it was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
He only shot 10. Right? We're used to seeing 15, 16 from him. But this is where it is. 50% from field goal. Only shot 4 threes. He only made 1 of them. But here's the biggest stat line to what I'm seeing here. 40 minutes. 40 minutes in the NBA's final game when it means that much to your team. He needed to be out there at all times there. And that's what you saw from him. Tyrese Halliburton was only 36 minutes. Those 4 minutes is a huge difference to winning and losing a game there with your star player on the court there. So I think SGA has now turned the page. Let's see what he does in game 5 now. I'm giving him his props for what he did in game 4.
Yeah.
But you've got game 5 at home. You can possibly make this your last home game of the year. Because if you win, you gotta go try to close it out. I think honestly this series goes 7. I honestly think it's going 7.
I hope it does.
We're going to get 5 and 6. Both home teams are going to win. we get a game 7 after that. And this has been a great finals. I don't care what anybody says. This has been a very, very highly contested outside of game 2. Every game has been contested. No lead is safe.
Yeah.
No, you have to have a 30-point lead to win a game in the finals right now.
Yeah. And I think, the issue and to me, as far as what we see with these two teams, is we talked about the strength and the numbers idea, but the most consistent best player on the team is what's been stirring the pot. And and that's why when you hold up SGA put up, he's been over 30 almost every game. So that's your consistent score. That's your consistent all-star. The issue is with Halliburton, although he's a great player, we're not trying to take anything away from him. He's in the teens.
18 points.
He's in the teens pretty regularly. You know what I mean? So and if you look at the rest of his squad, Mathurin had a big game, in the previous game. This game, Siakam had 20. You just don't get that one consistent player that the team can rely on offensively to help shoulder the load when the offense kind of slows down for him. When the ball stopped falling and they got into the fourth, they had a really hard time trying to figure out where to go. And the Tyrese Halliburton, top of the key, trying to take on whoever it just didn't work. He got one layup, but other than that, it wasn't working. The threes stopped falling, and like I said, I thought it was a complete disaster. The fact that they went away from Pascal Siakam, who had 20 points and was their leading scorer at the time.
He was getting to the rim whenever he wanted to, and they just stepped away from that in regards to that there. But if I'm looking at this Indiana roster, say, all right, let's play a little hypothetical here.
Yeah.
Say Indiana loses, right? And OKC wins the championship. Does that scream Indiana needs to go out and get a number 2 for Tyrese Halliburton? Is Pascal Siakam a legit number 2? Or do you need a little more?
Man, I guess for Indiana, I think their best bet is to try to grow what they have. I mean, we kind of forget that Tyrese Halliburton is still a pretty young player.
22.
Yeah, so, I mean, he still has room to grow, and he could very well mature into what they're looking for from a number 1 player. Now, maybe he's not there quite yet, but he can mature in that. So I think the team as is, I think they just got to run it back and stick with it. Some of your older guys, maybe you can keep, maybe you can't. When we talk about Miles Turner, honestly, is one of those players where he can really be a huge benefit for them. But just like the rest of the team, you really don't know what you're getting from each player every single game. I'm not quite sure. So on one hand, that's like, oh, great. Now you never know where it's coming from. Any of these guys could get hot. That's great. It's a team play. But the downside of it is when things aren't going right, where the hell do we go with the ball? And that's where they find themselves in trouble, is whenever they don't know where to go with the ball. You don't have a play designed to get Miles Turner in the post. Generally, he's out there on the 3-point line. Somehow you don't get the ball to Siakam, the one person who does have an advantage on the floor for the most part, except for OKC countering with the double bigs. But it's pretty much just Halliburton. And then you got to hope somebody else steps up. And it's just, I don't know. It's too much of a roll of the dice, man. It's too much of the roll of the dice.
Here's how I see Indiana, right? I picked Indiana to win, so I'm still going to stick with that.
Yeah.
But their half-court offense looks like Houston's half-court offense. It just comes to a standstill at that point there. And you see a lot of isolation, Tyrese Halliburton. There's no real movement around to try to get him open or somebody else open, right? The one thing that OKC did well was putting pressure right at the half-court line. You saw Indiana kind of really, really have a little bit of trouble with that, and the turnover started coming here. But the other thing, too, Mathurin, how do you go from Game 3 having 20 points and you go to Game 4 and only have 8?
That's what I mean. It's been like that all series where it's a different guy doing something.
Obi Toppin had 17.
Yeah.
But it's you need a little more consistency out of that there. I mean, you know what you're getting out of Alex Caruso. You're getting almost 20 points out of Caruso almost every night.
Yeah, you got guys with averages. You got guys who can average some points. I know Chet Holmgren has kind of been up and down. Jalen Williams, actually, he had a great game. he was a dog out there. My man, he was getting to the rim at will. He was really pressing the issue and being very physical with the smaller defenders that the Indiana Pacers put out there. And I thought that was a great that's what OKC needs to do. They need to be as physical as possible with this team, within reason, of course. But getting a line drive to the hoop when you have a guy that's smaller than you, hey, take that all day, and get right up to the rim. And because of that, he shot 11 free throws. So the free throw merchant was not SGA. Jalen Williams shot 11 free throws and made every single one of them.
Yeah.
Made every single one of them. So that was a huge factor in playing physical, getting downhill and getting to the rim. It was something Indiana wasn't necessarily able to do. They leaned in a 3-point shot early in the game when it was falling, but eventually that 3-point shot it got away from them. Their offense when they weren't blistering up and down the court and things slowed down, it wasn't working out too well.
And Indiana's starters didn't have a bad game. Almost outside of Aaron Naismith, everybody else was in double digits.
Yeah,
you just need to see a 30 piece in there to kind of anchor those. That there.
Yeah.
And that's where Tyrese Halliburton needs to go for 30. Or honestly, you can ask for it from Tyrese because since he is supposed to be the guy, but Pascal's the guy with the leadership, being in these finals before, the only guy with finals experience on this team. So I mean, maybe you lean on that. I don't know, but you can't have 4 guys in double digits and only have one guy break over 20 points. Yeah. You're not going to win a game like that.
Yeah, and
not when you have SGA going for 36 almost every night.
Right. And he's doing it with precision. And, the 3-point shot, as much as we saw it throughout the regular season, has been pretty much dead this whole series. There just haven't been a lot of great 3-point performances. Halliburton went 1 for 7. The whole Oklahoma City roster went 3 for 16. It's not happening. So the team that's able to create that free throw, getting to the rim, getting to the foul line, has been huge for real.
You know me, I love it. I love a 3-point shooting game. I do. Well, honestly, these teams ain't made for it, and they know that. Yeah. So they're playing to their strengths there, and you really have to enjoy that there as a basketball fan because you're seeing a little more of a high percentage shot, right? You're getting games with a little more consistency. All year we've been seeing games 130, 140. The NBA Finals has only broken 120 once, right? Everything's been around 111. That's where we have been the norm. Yeah. To see in a lot of these games here. So I've been enjoying these finals, man. I don't care what anybody says. Low key, this is an underrated finals that I think should be heightened up a little more here.
Yeah, no, you got 2 teams that just flat out, just 45 minutes, just get after it. So I think it's definitely a great series. So hopefully everybody is paying attention. But let's get into, we got Game 5 tomorrow. We're going back to OKC. OKC. Let's do predictions. Predictions.
I'm picking OKC to win Game 5.
All right. Well, I'm kind of.
I honestly think it's a slugfest, though. This thing will become a slugfest. There should be no more blowouts outside of Game 2. Yeah. You guys, they know each other now, so this game should be fairly close.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with OKC as well. The scary thing about Oklahoma City is they haven't had their very best offensive performance yet. And I think if they can get the ball moving and going they shot 3 from 16 from the 3-point line. That line is that's broken. So I assume they'll shoot a little bit better than that. They're back at home. They should be feeling good about themselves. They were able to snatch a win. I think they do get the job done. And then we go back to Indiana, and this thing, the pressure on this thing turns up after this game.
Oh, it sure does. I can't wait, man. And I get to wait another 3 days after tomorrow. Thank you, NBA.
I know. Can we talk about that, man? Why was there not a game today? Does it really take that long to fly from Indiana to Oklahoma?
No, you guys are both in the middle of the earth. Stop this.
I don't get that, man. And the one thing the NBA should have done a better job is making sure that some of these pivotal games are on prime time. You want your
Game 5
on
Monday.
You want your Game 5 to be on Sunday, right, or Saturday, right? Like if they're gonna piece it out that far apart, we might as well have every other game on a weekend if this is gonna be like this. Because
it might as well. Jesus.
I mean, because you get almost 3 days in between. What's the point? That you got one game during the week and another game on the weekend, and that's it. Because the optics of the Monday night special, that's great and everything, and we're used to the finals being that way, but we're also used to having big games are always prime time. They're always on the weekend. That's generally what we're used to seeing. So maybe they can work on getting that game 5 and game 7 on prime time on the weekend.
As long as game 7 is on Sunday, I think we'll be fine. But I swear to God, if game 7's on like a Friday, I'm punch NBA right in the face. They should not be doing that, man.
Yeah, it might be. It's on the, what is that, the 20th? No, it's on a Sunday. The 22nd.
It should be on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's 22nd. It's on a Sunday.
Phew, thank God.
Whew. Well, we got our predictions in. We're going to stick with the NBA for a little bit because, man, I want to talk about some of this. I don't know what the hell's going on. Some of this stuff within the NBA as far as free agency. The first place I want to start with, we did have a trade today. The Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic. Great. For Cole Anthony and
KCP.
KCP. Contavious Caldwell.
Yeah.
And a crap ton of draft picks. So Memphis got a ton of draft picks back as well. Didn't know Desmond Bane was that good, but hey,
is this
whatever.
a blockbuster trade to begin with?
Because no, it's not. It's not.
Hold on, it's Desmond Bane. Like
it's just the first trade. That's all. It's not a blockbuster. I mean, we saw them play. Desmond Bane he's a great player. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but is he even an all-star? Did he make an all-star this year?
Oh my God. No, he's not an all-star, first and foremost.
Yeah, so
the move represents a massive swing for Orlando to compete in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It doesn't.
Desmond Bane does not move the needle for the Orlando Magic at all.
It doesn't.
You know what they need? Shooting. They do not have anybody who can shoot the ball over there. They play great defense.
Bane could shoot. He could shoot. It's just that the problem with that is Orlando. We saw who made it, right? The Knicks, the Celtics, Indiana, and then, don't forget Detroit, right? So we saw the teams that kind of move forward. Orlando has to do a little bit more if they're going to compete. I understand they have to find ways just to stay in the playoff picture, which, by the way, the East is so bad that teams 10 games under 500 make the playoffs. But, to stay relevant. But I don't see this having any real impact on the NBA landscape at all.
Look. Desmond Bane averaged 19.2 points this season.
Yeah.
Caldwell Pope averaged 8.7. This is not a blockbuster deal, everybody. You know what a blockbuster deal is? Is a big name getting moved. Desmond Bane is not a big name. No. He's a role player.
Exactly.
And again, that's not taking anything away from him. Yeah. That's just what his job is on the Memphis Grizzlies. But what does this do for Memphis, though? Forget Orlando,
let's talk
about
that.
We need to talk about Memphis because both you and I agree they need to just implode that team. And honestly, Ja Morant should have been the first piece to move. Yeah, in my mind.
Yeah, and I think them getting rid of Desmond Bane and bringing in those two players kind of signals that maybe they're doing something different. All the draft capital that they took back in this trade leads me to believe that they are kind of looking towards the future a little bit. There was a report that after this trade that teams are getting in contact with them about both Jaren Jackson Jr. and your boy, what's his face? I don't know why I'm losing his name.
Mr. Pew Pew?
Yeah, Pew Pew. Yeah. Pew Pew. So, Ja Morant, yes. I don't know why I lost that. But yeah, so these guys may very well end up on the trade block. The Memphis has to start. Memphis as a small market team has to be looking at two small market teams in the finals and thinking, well, wait a minute. There is a formula to get there. And the formula is to amass as much draft capital as possible and draft young talent to get you to the next level. And I think that's what, if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, that should be the path. They've done well with JJJ and they did well drafting them, and they got Ja Morant, who was a top draft pick, but it just hasn't panned out as well as they thought it would, and the West is just getting better and better and better each year. So I think they definitely should trade Jaren Jackson Jr. and then if they could find somewhere for John Morant to go, they should probably look at doing that too.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Shohei Ohtani's making his pitching debut tomorrow. I hope he throws his arm out tomorrow. I don't care.
Yeah, okay. His whole arm will just fall off.
Yeah, just right off,
Yeah,
just right off the ground, just right on there.
It's not gonna happen.
Anyways, little more NBA news. Any thoughts of getting Steven Adams is through the wayside?
Yeah,
Houston
they paid
keeping him.
Hey.
They paid his ass. God damn, what is it? $39 million?
KD's on the way, baby.
Well, can we talk about this?
KD's on the way.
First of all, for a center, a bench center, to get a 3-year, $39 million extension, whose literally job it is just clog up the lane, grab a rebound, and run.
No.
This is the NBA contracts now, where you could do the least and get paid.
Hey, you got to give Steven Adams a little bit more credit than that. I mean, he's a quality big, man.
Okay, is he averaging a double-double again?
No, I said he's only making $15 million a year, man.
That's $10 million too much.
Oh, come on. Do you know how much some of these guys are making? $30 million is a mid-level player. Like $50 million is the top. So it's like 15 is not anywhere near that, man. Like he's not getting paid that much, okay?
That's a lot. What do you mean?
It's not that much.
All right,
maybe it's an overpay, but it's not by a lot. I'm just saying.
I'm looking up centers who are making money right now to really price this out.
Just put it in top plates. It's like Joel Embiid and others, pretty much. Top paid.
Top NBA centers. Contracts. Let's look at this crap. The 25 highest paid NBA centers in the NBA. Jokic, number one, obviously.
Yep. How much he making a year? $55 million a year.
Getting $55 million worth of play out of him.
Worth it. Karl Anthony Towns, $55 million. Joel Embiid, $53. Rudy Gobert.
Exactly.
$41 million a year. Okay. 41 a year. 41 million a year. Okay.
DeAndre Ayton, he's eating that contract in Portland.
Şengün is making $37 million a year. DeAndre Ayton, like you just said, 33. So 15 million is not that's a drop in the bucket, man. Josip Nurkic is making 17 million.
Yeah, that's another stupid contract.
Okay. Isaiah Stewart is making 15 million. So I think he deserves that contract, man. I'm just saying, looking at these, there's a bunch of guys on here. I'm like, yeah, no.
Nah.
Isaiah Hartenstein, who just plays his heart out, is making $29 million.
Yeah, that still shocks me sometimes.
Yeah.
2 points in the NBA Finals. What the hell, man?
Wendell Carter Jr., $19.5 million. Brooke Lopez.
Jacob Potel? I didn't know the Raptors had a center.
How much he making?
17 or 19.5.
There you go. So 15 million is a drop in the bucket, man. These guys are getting paid.
Oh, God.
Wait, how is Daniel Gafford only making 13? I thought he was a little better than that. Maybe not.
Jared Allen making
a lot.
20? I could justify that. Miles Turner, Clint Capella, good God, man. Talk about a guy who fell off the face of the earth. He went being from a good Rockets player to a crappy Hawks player and is getting paid $22.9 million to I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, you got to really get in the garbage list before you start getting below 10 million, man. Now we're talking guys nobody's even talking about, or they're guys on a rookie contract.
Oh, God.
That's
15,
it.
That's just a lot of money.
I mean, it seems like a lot, but for their team, I think it's worth it. I think it's well worth it for them.
Fred VanVleet's the one holding them up because now they got to wait for him to see what he wants to do. Opt in for $44 million. Talk about a guy who's not worth $44 million. It's Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, well, what's going to happen is they're going to try to make the trade for KD, and when they make that trade, they're going to tap him on the shoulder if he's going to be a part of it. If he's a part of the trade.
He has to be.
I don't. He might not be. He's probably making more than KD at this point. I don't know. But I think the Houston has enough young talent that they can get away with doing it. You know, they have to make the money match. But Jabari Smith Jr., You got Jalen. What's his name? Smith. What's the boy name?
Jalen Green.
Jalen Green, who has been so up and down. I'm sure he might be a part of the trade for sure. So the Suns will definitely get back some nice young talent. That's for sure. And maybe some draft capital. I don't know if they run Fred VanVleet. They already got Devin Booker, so I don't know if that's a good fit for them.
Let's talk about Mr. KD because he has been in the news. He now has a list of teams.
Every damn offseason he's in the news.
Unfortunately, it does not involve my Warriors, so we are out of the Kevin Durant sweepstakes.
No.
The Heat, the Spurs, and the Rockets are Kevin Durant's 3 landing places here. Both teams who have no aspirations of winning an NBA championship. Out of those 3, T, who do you think is the best? I mean, look, obviously the Rockets would be the number 1 pick, right?
Yeah.
Because of you saw in the playoffs they had 0 scoring ability in the half-court offense. So I'll let you go first. Who picks up KD out of those 3 teams?
All right, so the place where I think he's gonna go, and then I'll give one for where I think he should go. So where he's gonna go is the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets have the most assets. I think that will be of interest to the Suns going forward. And I think it's a better fit for both parties because Kevin Durant can really offer an offensive anchor for a team that struggles mightily trying to score the basketball. Now, where should he go? The San Antonio Spurs.
Yes.
He should play with a young De'Aaron Fox, a young Wemby. He would add a lot of great length and scoring to that team.
Don't forget about Stephen Castle now.
It's Stevie if they don't trade, if he doesn't end up getting traded.
Oh, that's true.
Stefan, I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, that I think would be interesting because San Antonio's small market team, but they really have been building up a roster to try to compete. And I think KD, although I don't know how long KD's got in the league, I think KD would really be interested in being like, hey, you know what? I don't mind getting some of the young guys around me and, building on some of that youthful exuberance. You know what I'm saying? And I think it'd be a great fit, honestly. I think it would. I don't know about the Rockets might be a good fit too. I just think it's much more interesting if he goes to the Spurs because having Wemby there and him is everything the league will be talking about. As opposed to him on the Rockets will only be talking about him. There's nobody on the Rockets to talk about.
Let's put it like this. I don't know where he got the notion of going to go play with the Miami Heat, but let's just.
I didn't even talk about them. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
We're not even talking about him because there's just even with them on the roster. I think they go from the play-in tournament to the 7th seed. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I think the Spurs are a great fit for him. Again, the youth that you talked about there, the one generational talent you have in Wembanyama, you have De'Aaron Fox, right? A guy who can facilitate, not really known for it, but it takes pressure off of him. And De'Aaron Fox can go get a bucket himself, right?
Yeah.
He's shown it, right? You put KD on there, makes his job easy, right? I think the X factor, though, when it comes down to it in crunch time, is having Chris Paul there. Having a legitimate kind of point guard to help anchor a lot of that there. Again, KD can hunt for his own shot, but he's also very dangerous off the ball as well.
Yeah.
You have to, and when you got some guy like Chris Paul who can go and find him and facilitate, KD's job becomes a lot easier. He goes to Houston, there's no point guard in Houston. We've seen it. All right. Fred VanVleet's not a traditional point guard.
Yeah,
right? He just shoots. He cannot get other guys open. So Chris Paul, I think, would kind of help anchor that decision in getting KD to go to San Antonio. And, who knows? He's from the Texas. He played in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that. Yeah, so you definitely have that connection too. And look, man, I think that's the best fit. Like I said, I think he'll end up going to the Rockets because I think that makes more sense for the Suns, maybe. But because the Suns are in this weird place where they want to keep Devin Booker and still try to compete. So they're gonna need some players.
Bradley Beal.
I don't know. They don't have a choice but to keep Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's making like $60 million next year, dude. Like his contract is crazy, and he has a no trade. He has a no trade clause. So you can't trade him unless he picks the place he wants to go. So they're stuck with Bradley Beal. He could go home tomorrow, not show up for another game. He's gonna get paid, but. the trade with the Spurs, they might not get a player that can compete right now. It would be more for younger players and draft capital, whereas Houston has a few players that maybe the Rockets can throw out, or the Rockets can hand over to the Suns, that they might say, oh, you know what? Okay, I like that. We can use that player and he can plug and play in our system as it is at the moment. So we'll see, man. I have a feeling this is going to go on for a while. Might even turn into another one of those three team trades, because I don't see a situation with either one of these teams where it's not going to be like big name for big name. Minnesota, like for instance, Minnesota was in the running for a minute. Now they're out. But if it had been Minnesota, then maybe you could have said KD for Randall in a couple of pieces, and that's it, right? But with these other teams like the Spurs aren't giving up any big name players. The Rockets aren't giving up any of their big. Oh, they don't have very many big name players. They're not giving up Şengün or anybody like that. Miami's not giving up, Adebayo. So what are the Suns really going to get? So I think this may turn into a 3-team trade if KD wants to go to either the Rockets or the Spurs.
Absolutely. Here, so I'm pulling for the Spurs to do it. We'll see. That'd be, dude, having two guys who combined weight is 300 pounds torching you.
Right, but they're collectively 1,000 feet tall too, so you gotta remember that.
Yeah. Ain't nobody blocking the shot, all right?
Exactly. Got Wemby and Durant taking threes, man. What the hell are you supposed to do with that,
or
man? That's crazy.
Or you have Durant living from the perimeter.
Yeah.
And then you have Wemby just cleaning everything up.
Exactly. Just chilling under the basket. Exactly.
Oh, my God, man. That's going to be dangerous.
No.
They could call them the Slim Reapers, not just the Slim Reaper.
The Slim Reapers. That's
bad,
catchy.
Right?
Yeah. That might work.
Sign me up.
That's right. So you heard it here first, folks. If it happens, you heard it here first.
I've already got their nickname, Slim Reapers.
The Slim Reapers. Wembanyama and Durant, the Slim Reapers out in San Antonio. Yeah, man. Let's see. What else do we have going on? I think we already don't have any news on the NFL side of things. I think we got a few more weeks after the NBA Finals before we get into that.
Caitlyn Clark's back.
That's right. So on the WNBA side, Caitlyn Clark comes back with a flurry, goes for, what she go for, 32? I think she went for 32 against the Liberty. Has some crazy long distance threes. I don't know if you got a chance to see some of the highlights. We posted them. One of these shots was Steph Curry like, where she comes off the screen. She has two people on her basically and just pulls. It
was the third one she hit.
It was just pulls
to the left side.
Yeah, just pulled. Had two defenders on it, no problem. And we're talking about a good 5 to 6 feet or further from beyond the WNBA 3-point line.
So, she's shooting from Steph Curry distance.
Yeah, she's shooting from.
Look, I'm not trying to take anything away from Sabrina either, because Sabrina dropped 34 in that game too. But look, the Caitlyn Clark effect is real. Let's just be what it is, right? We talked about it. The girl comes back. She hits 3 threes that are nowhere near the WNBA 3-point line. She stepped back on Breanna Stewart, right? One of the tallest players in the league. Put one in her eyeball, all right? And then 2 defenders come crashing on her. She gets to her spot and literally just shoots the same shot she does. Dude, and the best thing is nothing is hitting the rim. It is just a pure crisp swish, and you know what that's like being, playing in the backyard or something. Like, you don't hit the rim; it's just got that clean snap when the ball rotates.
It means you in that place, you in the zone, you feeling good. Right. Yeah, you
got to be kidding me, man! Like, just watching her do that, it's exciting. Like, it's you got everyone 8 are short on that. No kidding. And the comments were absolutely just amazing for Caitlyn Clark and what she's done. This is the change that we're talking about. This is the one in a generational talent that takes your league to a whole new level. This is what Caitlyn Clark does for you here. I'm gonna be at the game on Thursday when Indiana comes to play the Golden State Valkyries. I'm gonna be cheering for my Valkyries, but I guarantee you, Caitlyn Clark pulls up from San Bruno and shoots it into
from the airport
and switches it. Damn, believe I'm gonna lose my mind. All right, like.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, watching Caitlyn Clark play is equivalent, and I know I'm probably going to catch heat for this, is watching Steph Curry handle the basketball. And it's not so much the shot that she shoots, it's the dimes that she's dropping too. It just sucks because some of these girls be blowing layups like it's nobody's business.
Well, that
But
happens a
she's
lot around the
but
league.
exactly, but she's creating shots for her players, and when the time is needed, she goes absolutely nuclear.
Yeah.
And she did that. 3 threes in less than a minute, and they were all from about 35 feet.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't beat that.
And well, the big thing is it's must see TV, right? It's a
Oh,
situation
100%.
where people are watching. It's exciting. It's something you really look at and go, "Wow, I've never seen that before," or at least not in the WNBA. Obviously, we've seen
And
it.
we haven't.
We've seen it in the NBA. Now everybody's shooting from the damn half court line. Tyrese Halliburton pulled up one time from he was right at the logo in one of the finals. But anyway, no. So it's extremely exciting, and she's gonna keep doing what she's doing. She just got to find a way. The WNBA, just like we've always said, WNBA has to find a way to get her into the deep run into the playoffs.
Well, that's going to be on her and her team to really do that.
Yeah.
But look, man, that game was on ABC on Saturday.
Yeah.
Caught everybody's attention.
Yeah.
I was tuned into it. I was
a good
working
thing,
and
man.
watching the game.
It's a good thing.
It's
a good thing. And we'll show some love. I know there is some. I know some people are kind of crazy with this Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese thing, but Angel Reese also had a triple double, but she played pretty well. Not really known for shooting well from the field, but she did a good job of getting some assists and getting her team involved with rebounds and assists in this game. So,
did you see the little dust up that her and I can't remember the girl's name. Basically, Angel Reese got about 4 foot long hair going down. She had dual braids going down the back.
Yeah.
Rebound play. Girl grabbed her braid and she grabbed it like
that happens, dude. That happens.
It does. And Angel Reese took exception, as she should.
She should, yeah. Slap her.
And I wish she would have, but the girl who pulled her hair was like, "Oh, I don't want it. I didn't mean it, right?" And Angel Reese just found the first person to shove, and she picked somebody to shove, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like if you gonna foul somebody, just wear it. If you don't get into a little
scuffle, and then get into the scuffle. Yeah.
Just get into it. You don't just grab hair on accident, right?
No.
Like that's not.
It's not a normal thing. Yeah.
No.
It reminds me in the NFL when dudes was pulling dreads. Remember that?
They made it legal though. That's the NFL though. They made that legal.
They grab guy by the dread. Dang. You got to put them dreads away.
Right, grabbing and going.
Yeah. Oh man. Well.
Oh, Boogie Cousins.
Yeah. No. So apparently Boogie Cousins is playing in some Puerto Rican league or some crap, and he's got some overly exuberant, we'll call it, fans next to him who got something to say in Spanish, I guess. I don't know. And so apparently, Boogie Cousins took he didn't like that at all. Went over there and got to a whole situation. Got to talking. Went to grabbing. Got really close to some peoples.
Throwing some middle fingers.
Right, and they had to. So one very intelligent player came over and separated him from the fan. So let's talk about this.
That fan almost got
talk about this,
dude.
Does anybody understand that DeMarcus Cousins is a 7 foot tall behemoth? Okay, I'm not talking about normal 7 foot either. I'm not talking about Kristaps Porzingis or even Wembanyama when you think about him, how skinny he is. No, Boogie Cousins is like he's a big man, okay? And the fact that fans actually thought that it was like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. I'm about to get up there and get are you serious? He could have literally grabbed one of them Puerto Rican dudes up by the collar and picked him up and slam dunked his ass in the basket. I mean,
you know what it remind me of?
What?
Is like something out of the Avengers, right? Boogie Cousins is the Hulk. He literally gonna grab this dude by the shirt and
bam, like that. Exactly.
I don't get what it is, man. Like, look, as a fan, yes, I love to go to the game and say my piece every once in a while, right? Yeah. I've never sat courtside at a game. I don't think I ever will in my life. But there's one thing I'm not
flipping
doing.
people off.
I ain't flipping nobody off, and I'm not picking on the biggest dude in the building. We're not just talking about on the court. It is the building, right?
Yeah.
And the most short-tempered human being in the building was DeMarcus Cousins, and you felt it was necessary sitting down. Who knows? He could have been standing up. His height was probably no bigger than DeMarcus Cousins' stomach, and you want to fight him? Like, what are you gonna do? You see security trying to hold back DeMarcus
I
Cousins?
mean, I'm sorry, no.
It took a whole
It
army. No pun
reminds me
intended.
of, remember the Malice in the Palace, okay?
Yes.
Remember the one scene where the guys, because the fans ran on the floor, right? When the
Yep.
one fan ran on the floor and squares up with Jermaine O'Neal. Do you remember that?
He got his ass
Got
punched.
knocked the hell out. I mean, look, we got to stop pretending like we don't know these guys are athletes, okay? They're not fighters, and we're not saying they're fighters, but for a normal human being like ourselves, getting into a fight with a finely tuned athlete that's a foot taller than you is not a good idea. It's just not a good idea.
Let's put this in description, right? Let's start with the Malice at the Palace. Jermaine O'Neal,
Yes.
what, about 7 foot,
Close
6'11",
to 7, yep.
right? Maybe about 2% body fat. Trains all year. Probably could lift a moving car if he felt like it.
Yeah.
The guy that ran on the court was probably about 5'9", 5'10", about 280,
Yeah, a
290
little
pounds.
chunky. Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
body fat percentage of about 70. All right. And you want to go pick on this dude. Like, stop it, man. Like, you wouldn't even land a punch. By the time you threw your punch, you'd have been at the hospital already.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for the guy in Puerto Rico. Like, just stop this. I get it. Alcohol is a major factor into a lot of these key decisions that these fans love to make.
Yeah.
All right, sit your ass down. Just stop. Just stop, man.
He almost turned him into a chimichanga.
Those are delicious. Oh my god, dude! And then it doesn't help when at that point Boogie saw red. He was gonna attack the first person he could.
And we know this guy. Like, we know how he rolls. Like, this is not Boogie Cousins' first rodeo when it comes to dealing with somebody in his face, okay? And fans just need to calm down, take a deep breath, and know that at the end of the game, you get to go home to your family or to your whatever it is you got going on in life. Why threaten that by approaching a 7'1", 300-pound human being in a threatening way? Why?
Yep.
Why? You
want to do
just
something stupid? Go to the zoo. Go.
Pick a fight with a tiger.
Provoke a tiger or a lion.
Exactly.
That works out for you.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Hey, idiots.
Yeah.
Man.
And B knows. B from the SF area. Okay, y'all don't know what them tigers did when them tigers escaped that one time. Hey man, only us people in the Bay know about that. That was rough, bro. Hey man, they climbed the whole fence and went on a killing spree, man. It was no joke.
Hey
It
man,
was no joke.
just let these animals rest in peace, man. Like, don't go disturbing that. You like being disturbed when you're sleeping? No, don't do it to an animal, especially one that doesn't know any better. It was hungry, locked up in a cage.
Tigers was hungry, boy. They was like, we getting everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, that was anyway. But anyway, that was a horrible situation. Obviously, but still, just don't pick fights with people. It's just not a good idea, man.
Go pick a fight with somebody your own size and same fat body percentages as well.
Yeah, you still might lose, but at least you give yourself a fighting chance.
It's a little more even. They can fight like walruses. How walruses like bump stomachs and tusks.
Yeah, but they got them tusks, man. You dead.
Yeah, it's true too.
Yeah, they bite too, man. It's over. Man, you try to punch them, they slick like a fish, man. Your punch just gonna slide right off of them. Man, you gonna get bit in the thigh and die.
You don't have a tusk, just from one end, point A, exit point B.
Yep. Yep. Gone. Damn. What happened?
Be gone.
Crazy. Tried to pet a seal. Ended up a meal.
You went to sit courtside, ended up in a deep fryer.
Right.
Good job. Stupid asses.
Could you imagine the mayhem that would have ensued if he had went and just started punching people? I mean,
dude, what would you call it, right? So we had Malice in the Palace. It was in Puerto Rico. What would you call it?
I don't know how you say fight in Spanish, man.
You know what worse is? I'm like part Latin too, and I don't even know this.
Man.
Hold on, looking it up. Oh look, first thing, how do you say fight in Spanish? Luchar?
Luchar? No, I don't like that word. That don't sound good enough.
Luchar? La lucha? There you go, la lucha. That sounds better.
There you go.
La Lucha El Puerto Rico.
There you go. La Lucha.
The
Yeah.
fight in Puerto Rico.
Man, that boy would have been stomped, man. I'm telling
Yep.
you.
He'd have turned into some refried beans the way his ass would have gotten stomped out.
It's like fighting the F-150, man. What the hell is wrong with you?
First of all, DeMarcus Cousins ain't an F-150. My boy a Hummer. All right. Not even the electric kind, the fucking kind.
Not the cute one, bro.
Ain't
The real one.
Ain't nothing cute about DeMarcus Cousins.
The one with
like that since college too.
Excuse me, my language. The dually truck. That fight the dually truck. He out
never made it out of third gear.
Nah.
Got to the
you go. Roll kill. Telling you, man.
Oh look, there's the Angel Reese highlight.
Hey, yeah, she had a good game with her assists. She only shot 2 for 7 from the field. She really struggles from shooting the ball. Honestly, if I'm being 100%, she's only shot like 30% for the whole season.
She's like 2 feet from the hoop too.
Yeah, she's got to work on that, man, because shooting 30% for a season, bro. You know, they've only played like maybe 12 games or something, but or 10 games, but 30% from the field. Nah.
As a superstar?
No. Wait, okay. We okay. She'll improve. She'll improve.
She better. You can't sit there and cry that you're not being treated like a superstar when you don't play like one.
Well, she definitely got to play better. You're not gonna get no argument with me on that. I looked at her stats the other day and I was like, damn, what? 30% for the season? Like 10 games? How you only shooting 30% from the field? That's not. And maybe I need to look at the other WNBA percentages to get a better idea. But I'm used to the NBA. Anybody shooting 30% from the field is not playing. It's not playing.
No,
they're not playing.
As a center,
they're not playing. Like they are literally gone.
Not WNBA.
Boogie Cousins could come in to the NBA right now, and he might only have 4 or 6 points a game, but he's going to be over 50% from the field.
Yeah, because those are the only shots he's going to take.
Dunks and layups. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, man, I hope, I'm glad no one was hurt. Boogie, hopefully Boogie didn't catch nobody outside, or anything like that.
Well, I don't think they have because there's no reports of anything. So I'm
all right. Well then, okay, good. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, B, let's cap it off with the baseball minute, man. We got to talk about your team, who's made some changes. They've been winning some games, although they were right on the heels of the Dodgers. The Giants were right on the heel of the Dodgers. Unfortunately, weren't able to get the game today. What are they, a game and a half for 2 games back?
Now we're 2 games out.
2 games out.
One game.
1 game out, but they had a little bit of an addition to the team during that time. So, B, let's talk about the Giants, man. What's going on with the SF Giants?
I was watching the game, and they said, we got breaking news. And I'm like, oh, God, what did the Dodgers do this time? I'm like, here we go. Sunday Night Baseball. Let's talk about the Dodgers. Then they go balls to San Francisco Giants, and my palms got sweaty, arms heavy, mom spaghetti, whatever the word is. I don't know how you call it. But this team, before I tell you who the player they got, has been struggling offensively here. And, I mean, it happens in baseball. It's a long-ass season. But when I tell you they're struggling, man, I'm throwing up while watching these baseball games, man. They went out and made a trade, I would say, similar to the Lakers going out and getting Luka Doncic. They went out and got themselves Rafael Devers here. And the guy is a 3-time All-Star, World Series MVP, or World Series champion here. The dude plays absolute lights out baseball. Wasn't happy in Boston, and God forbid he said, I want to go play with the Giants. So the Giants are taking on this massive ass contract. I think it's like still 9 years, $250 million, but they went out and got themselves a legitimate left-handed hitter. I am so excited because it did not have to involve the Dodgers until they said, "Ooh, Shohei Ohtani's going to be pitching on Monday." So they had to take over the news, right? Dodgers couldn't stand the Giants winning this headlines, right?
Dude,
so they're like, "Oh, let's make this announcement." So that's why I hope he blows his arm out tomorrow. So he's not even ready. The Giants did have to give us some prospects pitching wise, which is kind of their stable. But look, all these last few years as Giants fans, we've had to sit and endure and watch our front office do absolutely nothing, bringing a superstar to the Bay Area. We almost had Aaron Judge, right? We almost had
Yeah.
who's the name I'm missing here in Philadelphia? God damn it, I'm blanking on his name. Bryce Harper.
Bryce Hart. Okay.
Yep, they almost had him, almost had Alex Correa, and then they said, "Oh no, we didn't know about an injury." Whiffed on three superstars, right? Well, this year we go out and get Willie Adames, first superstar Posey to get. Now they trade for an ultra star, and this is just juicy here. So as a fan, look, it may not work, we don't know, but this is what we've been asking for as fans, right? You want to see your team improve. Tosh, how was that feeling when you found out the words that
Well,
Luka
you called me because I didn't
right?
know. I was just sitting on my behind watching TV, and you say, "Hey man, you look at your phone." I looked at my phone and almost I literally jumped up out of my couch and ran in no particular direction, and was like, "Are you serious? Are you?" Because it just didn't make any sense. It was like, how is this even possible? How did we got Luka Doncic? Are you serious? So yeah, no, man, it's one of those deals where it's just like, that's crazy. I didn't expect it. No talk about it leading up to the actual trade, and a huge plus for a team, man. So yeah, man, I get it. I get it.
Over his career, he's averaging 279 in his career. He's got over 200 home runs, 1,100 hits. Honestly, this season that he's having already, better than most Giants players on this roster. So they got themselves what they needed here. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I can't wait for this, man. That's why I really wanted to make sure we talked about it. Obviously, losing 2 out of 3 to the bums in LA didn't really, make my day go too well on a Father's Day. But you know what? We got this trade. That's all that matters. We're good for it. Now baseball can really pick up.
There you go. Well, yeah, man. I think that's all we got, unless I can think of something else.
I don't think I'm caught up with much after that.
Yeah, well, we'll be looking forward to the Game 5 tomorrow. We both will have our eyes glued to the set to see who comes away with the victory, because this is a big game. Obviously, the winner of this is one game away from winning the NBA Finals. Win the NBA championship
for the first
time for either one of these franchises, which is incredible. So yeah, man, we'll be looking at that. We'll definitely get some more posts on our feed, so you guys can see what we think of some of the highlights as we go through next week, and we may have a new champion before we come back on next time. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm reading this guy's comment on what he said about the Giants-Dodgers rivalry. Hold on. What did he say? Are you serious? You really think that's the greatest rivalry in baseball? Not the Red Sox and Yankees. Get out of here. No, sir. You get out of here. That's my opinion. I'm living to it. I live on the West Coast. That's my opinion. You don't like it? That's your problem, not my problem. Living on the web. Just like Charles Barkley said, he probably sitting at his mama's house in his basement typing that up right now.
All right. That's nice. We got in a little comment there at the end.
Just saying, man.
But the Yankees and the Red Sox, I get some of that, but I don't know. Is it?
Not everything belongs on the East Coast, okay?
Yeah,
not everything belongs on the East Coast. All of us West Coast guys are gonna say it, and we don't say that the Yankees and Red Sox are why? Because they play each other all the time in the playoffs. That's because the AL sucks in general. So, of course, they're going to play each other in the playoffs, right? Damn. Do your research, stupid.
Well, my vote is always for the Lakers and the Celtics, although they haven't played against each other in a while. They have some great battles in the finals, so that's what tears it for me. And because both of those teams have 17 and 18 championships combined, and they played each other time and time again, there isn't an era where they don't have a championship, either one of those teams. So I think that's kind of the way I look at it. But Boston, if I'm not mistaken, had to wait a little while before they made it back, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's call it there before before we kick up any more dust. Again, we appreciate y'all joining us. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And
I got a lot of dust to pick up right now.
Check us out.
All you Dodger fans, who are San Francisco 49er fans miss me with that. How did it feel this weekend rooting against an SF team, idiots?
Well, let's get out of here before someone gets hurt.
Yeah, your feelings hurt maybe. Remember, we ain't fighting though. We ain't fighting. I'm 5'4", so I ain't fighting.
All right, we'll fight next. We'll see y'all next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and we out. Until next time.
Anytime. Later.
All right.